Yeah, it looks like a different era, right?
Yeah, I know. I remember when we'd be there.
Hello and welcome to Cafe Croissant. James and Antonio, we are live.
Wow, we are live. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome everyone. Good morning and welcome to the first Cafe Croissant of 2022. We don't have this nice initial jingle that we're missing from the previous online Cafe Croissant, but I guess now it's a question of bringing good luck for this year to come. So we want to change things, and we want to do together with you for the good. I also would like to welcome my co-pilot, James. How is it going,
Good
James?
morning, Geneva. I'm well, thank you. Here in the Fongit mothership at the Stellar in Plan-les-Ouates. May your dreams come true in 22.
Yes. We are waiting for some more people to join. And we have a very interesting content today to propose you. We will hear from organizations supporting tech startups and startups in general. We'll hear about Las Vegas Consumer Electronics Show. We'll hear about life science news. I mean, great things to come. And with that, I'm really excited to start the year with you. And I would like to start by actually showing a picture of our team. Our team who is evolving, who is improving, who is growing with new nice faces that we can see. All the team is pumped for this new year, and I would like really to give a special thank to all of you who are supporting us. I also would like to welcome some new team members. New team members that are not only today, as we speak, in the background, making all this Café Croissant happen, but they are also at Fongit, and they are providing all the support that all the good entrepreneurs deserve. I'd like to welcome in particular the 4 new team members joining our great foundation. I'd like to welcome Krizia, who is joining from the infrastructure and administration team. I'd like to welcome Romain, who is our new legal expert. And I'd like to welcome Anna Maria and Keelan from the Marcom and engagement team. So don't hesitate to reach out to them if you have any question or any need really. So with that, we can start. Let's start by giving an idea of what the year will look like. But first of all, by saying something which is important. You know, Fongit turned few days ago 30 plus 1 year, 31 years. And it's amazing that so much time passed by. And in 1991, our great founder, Jean-Pierre Etter, decided to create this foundation to support entrepreneurs, trying not to make and trying to avoid the mistakes he had done himself previously before creating a successful company that is called now LEM, publicly traded on the stock exchange. And you know what? This exceptional entrepreneur, he failed twice before succeeding. And so with that, he said, you know, those were mistakes I could have been able to avoid. That's why he created Fondation Genevoise pour l'Innovation Technologique. So what is the good news here? Actually, there is one bad and one good news. The bad news is that, you know, due to the unfortunately nowadays familiar restrictions for the pandemic, we weren't able to celebrate last year the 30 landmark year of our foundation. That's the bad news. But what is the good news? That we're going to celebrate this year. So I think you should stay tuned, because we are looking forward to find a way to celebrate all together, hopefully in the months to come, when the situation will improve. But in order to get a bit warmed, I also invite you to go and check on our socials, because we asked both entrepreneurs supported by the foundation and our team members to make a nice short video about the celebration of our anniversary, and you will find some interesting thing. You will be able to discover surprising hidden talent of great acting, or let's say unexpected multitasking capabilities from our team members. So really, I invite you to go and check on our web. It's pretty fun, actually. We enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, no, it's great to see Goodwall and Proton Mail giving a shout out to the birthday. So as well as other startups and supporters. So check it out, and also, send us your videos about your successes if you're online. I mean, we want to hear from you, and our innovators want to hear from you.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So with this, we can move on and start to talk about Bit22. I mean, this is nice. I mean, I think we all received this meme when you realize that 2022 is actually pronounced like 2022. So what is gonna look like? Well, we cannot predict the future, of course, but I think that we are the beginning of the end of the story. This is my personal thinking, provided my empirical evidence around us. I think we more and more know people. We know more and more people who got infected, but luckily less and less people who got complications around it. And this is, in my opinion, the best possible, the most encouraging news we can have for the future. So with that, we really start this 22, not like having this, I think is Ben Affleck, right? Yes, it's a kind of a bit dizzy Ben mentioning that 22 looks like the 2022. I don't think so. We don't think so. We actually believe that it will improve. For the time being, we of course need to respect all the regulation, and that's why we are having our Café Croissant back in the virtual setup, and we're gonna do that until normality will trigger again, and hopefully it will not be waiting for long. So with that, I like also to tell you a bit more about the year to come, and I will start with some interesting figures really quickly, very high-end figures. If we take a moment to look back at 2021, and with all the difficulties we had to face, all of you had to face, and all of us had to face. We managed actually to have great achievements. There is the venture capital report who has been just released, and we're going to talk about it in our socials. I invite you to go and check it out on startupticker.ch. The startup system is thriving despite the situation, and I personally cannot believe that more than 50,000 new businesses have been created during this period, 21, and only more than 4,000 in Geneva, which is an increase of more than 6%. So that means that entrepreneurs are really moving forward despite all odds, and in particular, jumping and bouncing on the opportunities of the downturns. I think this is great news in terms of vitality, in terms of progress. And what we like to say often at Fongit, we always need to be mindful not to confuse motion with progress. But in this case, we're not only moving, we're really going forward, and I think this is what we are learning from this pandemic. All the real entrepreneurs, actually, they are there to take the opportunity. I remind you that huge companies have been created during the downturn periods. We know that we had companies such as the IBM created during the long depression of the end of the 19th century. Microsoft created during the crisis of the 1975. Uber and Airbnb after the crash of 2007, the financial crash. I mean, crises are opportunities, and we are seeing it from the results of new creation of companies, the results of companies raising money, the VC report, and also by the vitality of our of our nation in general, which is really trying to overcome some difficulties. Among the I would say the less good news, in 21 we experienced the suspension of the H2020 program for the direct funding of startups in Switzerland, in the framework of the more general agreements with the EU. And this is a pity. It's a pity not only for the financing part, which is going to miss for our startups, but for the strategic relevance of being associated to European program for Swiss companies. Swiss companies are competing globally. Therefore, to have the endorsement of the European Commission with this grant of money is most and above all a sign of a recognition and endorsement that Swiss technology is now missing. So regarding the financial bit, at the government level, they are doing great effort, and they're enforce InnoSwiss programs. And James and I, we are very much involved in this program, InnoSwiss, which is really a great program of federating all the cantons together at the governmental level, and it will improve, it will do better, it will do more, and it will try to offset, this issue with the European program. But in general, we really hope that we can go back in Europe for the legitimation that being part of it provides to the Swiss technology in general. So with this, I'm really looking forward for this 22 or to this 22 for the great news that are going to come. I look forward to see the Café Croissant in virtual and then becoming physical, and the experiences that we can gather all together from these exchanges. I really wish you now a good continuation, and I'd like to pass now on to James for all the news about the startups and all the things that our great guests will be able to tell us today. James, it's up to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio. Well, we've got a really packed agenda because, as you say, that there are a lot of good things that are happening in our innovation nation. So let's just kick off by telling you some of the startups that made the news. Actually, 2022 started really strong on the fundraising front with Adipos and Medimaps both getting important rounds of investment. Now, osteoporosis is a silent killer. It actually affects 1 in 5 men, 1 in 3 women. And until recently, Medimaps was a hidden gem. They've been going for years on 1 round of financing, getting traction, convincing the medical community that their new tool for diagnosing osteoporosis was actually 50% better than the existing equipment. And finally, the transition happened, and they raised $20 million as part of a fundraising success story. So the round was led by Swiss Canton, which is the Zurich Cantonalbank, Swiss Entrepreneurs Fund, Swisscom Ventures, and Ver Ventures, because they realized this is an example of a great digital health company. So good things take time, and value innovations can really change the lives of people, and we're very proud of that progress. And then also in the life sciences case, we have Adipos, who raised their seed round or pre-Series A round which was led by Privilege Ventures and joined by VentureKick, Fongit, and CR Ventures and Knightsbridge. So a great group of investors and also angels leading that initiative to bring early diagnosis and also treatment to chronic wasting disease. So great job for Adipos, and we're really delighted to see that you're going to start your clinical trials for this important treatment. So moving to the world of online retail. So if you're wondering about, would you like to buy your groceries from the best local producers, the best butcher, the best local cheese shop, but you don't have time? Well, if you go online and you are based anywhere in Western Switzerland, if you order before 12, you will have it collected and delivered to your door by Magic Tomato. And they've increased their reach by coming up with a deal with a Label Bleu to meet that increasing demand for high quality local bio produce. So now they're in Neuchâtel, Chaux-de-Fonds, Fribourg, Le Gros de Vaud, as well as their home, which is Geneva and Lausanne. So later in this year, they're also going to come to the Swiss-German part as well. So congratulations for that, 2 entrepreneurs coming together. So this is a fintech story. When you invest in a company, of course, you want them to have good financial results, but also you want them to be contributing well to the future of the planet. And Impact have come up with a breakthrough way of measuring the impact of a company's contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals. And they do this for over 1,000 companies. And in fact, their clients are some pretty big banks now. And interestingly, they've come up with a partnership with the magazine called Bilan. And every month, Impact will have a report about one of the companies that they've reviewed, both online and in the paper magazine. And the first article will be actually about Novartis. What is their impact and contribution to each of the Sustainable Development Goals? So we're excited to read that, and we congratulate them on their progress. So what few people know is facts are legal documents. So if you go to the doctor and they want to send your prescription to a pharmacist, they do it actually by fax. And Alohai is the leading online fax solution. And they've now become digitally certified for ISO. So they are now meeting the Information Security Management System standards. And they're also launching new landing pages and making their beta program available for the public, and that's actually for online signing of documents. So that's a great step forward for them. Check out their webpage. You'll see it in the links. So now moving forward to the newcomers to Fongit, and I have the great pleasure to welcome the CEO of Fluosfera, Gregory Segala. Welcome, Gregory, and thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit more about Fluosfera?
Thank you very much, James. And at Fluosfera, we are really delighted now to belong to the Fongit family. So I'm going to present a bit what is the story of Fluosfera. And so the goal of our company is to improve the drug development process, because this is a process that is very costly, because it costs $2.5 billion to develop a single drug. And then the failure rate is really huge, because 90% of the drugs, they fail during clinical development. And so this huge failure is due to the fact that we fail to predict the effect of drugs in vitro. So the solution of Fluosfera is to isolate human tissue into tissue modules, and then we create biosystem. And so we recapitulate the human body organization to better predict the effect of drugs on patients. And so thanks to this technology, we can develop more safe and more efficient drugs for the patient. And also we can reduce the cost of development. So of course, our future customers are pharmaceutical companies. And thanks to our technology, also they are going to reduce the use of animals. And so we are going to rely less on animal experimentation, not to replace it. I really want to emphasize that we not plan to replace animal experimentation, but just to reduce it. And this is already a good step forward. And so, of course, now we are supported by Fongit, and we are really honored to be to get the support of Fongit and many other sponsors. Also, I just want also to emphasize that before Fongit, we were supported by Genius, and thanks to Genius, we make a successful transition from academia to business. So, thank you very much. And maybe the last thing I really want to say is that we will start the seed fundraising next month. So if some investors are looking to this video, so yeah, we will be interested in seed fundraising round. Thank you very much, James.
Yeah, thanks, Gregory, and thanks for this great explanation. It is fascinating, your technology, and it's great that with the support of the whole Swiss startup scene that you're shaping the project, and it's really being accelerated. Can you tell us a few more points about the other plans you have for 2022?
So yeah, of course, with pleasure. So the big plan is to really go to the market efficiently. So we already have a first customer now, and we already propose the first contract of services, because we position us as a contract research organization. And so we start to propose services to pharmaceutical companies. So this is the big plan of 2022, and of course this seed fundraising round starting in February.
Well, we're looking forward to working with you and hearing about your progress, and we look forward to having sharing your news on our socials when you get the successes which you deserve. So thanks for joining us today, and we're delighted to have great deep tech companies like Fluosphere as part of our innovation community.
Thank you very much, James.
Great. So yeah, it's fascinating to hear this progress from companies like Fluosphere. And if you're listening as a Fongit supported startup, please send us your news, and we'll be happy to have you at the next Café Croissant. So now let's move our attention to one of the key events of every year in startups. The beginning of January, you have the Las Vegas Consumer Electronics Show, the CES. And I'm sure you all followed it. You saw the BMW car that changed color. And this year was quite unusual because it was hybrid. So you could visit and some of the pavilions online, and also to follow it virtually. Luckily, there was a great initiative from Swiss Tech, which was to bring the best Swiss startups to the CES. And we were lucky to have 2 Fongit startups present. And we thought it'd be very interesting to invite them today and let them share their experience and encourage you to apply next year to go to the CES. So I also want to share with you that InnoSuisse provides startups the great opportunity to attend international fairs as exhibitors or as visitors, so for free. So please check that out on InnoSuisse. So with that, I'm very happy to welcome Veronica Stacey, who is at Food Detective, and Lance Newhart from Global M. Welcome. Both of you were at the CES. I'm sure it was a great experience, and I'd like to run this as a discussion. So I'd like to have a question to both of you. I mean, tell us a bit about your company first, and then tell us a little bit about the CES.
Sure. Hi, James. Thanks for having us here at Fonget, Cafe and Croissants. I'll tell you a little bit about Food Detective and what we do. Food Detective powers restaurants' digital transformation through a unified API. Now, that can seem a little bit complicated or complex to understand. So what does this really mean? This means that visually, we're eliminating all the hardware that a restaurant uses on a daily basis and centralizing it on a single platform. But what's really much more interesting is what it means in terms of data. So there are great softwares out there. Restaurants can use 12 or more on a daily basis. If you think about delivery, waste, HR, stocks, marketing, and what we're really doing is just putting it all together through integrations with different partners, through Click and Connect, so they don't have to do any of the tech side. And yeah, right there on the slides, you can see all the different verticals we work with. And what happens is, of course, they can manage their restaurant from a single platform, have it on a dashboard that will give them analytics, and it is an intelligent OS system. So eventually they'll be able to get actionable insights once information is flowing through our system. So this is what we do in a snapshot, and basically making restaurants' life much easier. So you want me to go ahead and talk a little bit about what we did at CES?
Yeah, why don't we move on with that, and then we'll swing back to Lance to tell us a bit about Global N. So yeah, if you can tell us why you decided to go there and a bit more about the experience.
Yeah, well, we decided to go there obviously because we were looking into also going into the US market. So it was a really important decision to make. Also, CES is the biggest technological event there is. So we really wanted to have our presence there, and we saw it as an investment. We were there for 3 days. As you know, the event was cut a little bit shorter. We went with 3 people from Food Detective. It was a good idea because one of us, well, me specifically, I'm in marketing. We went with somebody who's the COO and the CEO. So we all had different functions there. And it worked pretty well across the 3 days. The first days, there were a lot of media coverage. It was mostly people who just wanted to know what was happening. So we had the chance to speak on various podcasts and also The Spoon. Day 2 was a lot of business, investors who came over, people who were really interested in knowing about our product because, as you said, they had already seen, the color-changing car. So they were now interested in seeing maybe softwares who are not so, visually attractive at first sight in a booth. And then the third day was a lot of, last people coming around. We did make some good connections with people who wanted to know more about food tech, but they were looking at the food tech booth and they decided to now come look at country pavilions. So it was a great opportunity to also be at CES for that. And of course, a lot of networking and people who passed by to get some Swiss chocolate.
Switzerland, more than chocolate.
So I had a few points here, which is just my personal opinion from our experience on what to consider when attending an event. First of all, do a lot of research, right? Check the exhibitor floor, see if your competitors are going to be there, see what categories of tech are going to be there. In our case, we needed a food tech or restaurant tech to be there for it to be especially interesting. And also whether your niche audience is going to be there. So by niche audience, I mean, who are the people who are attending? Is there going to be people mostly from the US because it was more of a COVID time? Is that interesting for us? And so forth. And here are 3 points that are really important. 1, to have realistic expectations. So what are your event goals? Are you there for marketing? Are you there for getting investors? Are you there to see buyers potentially? Because it has to align with what the event offers. What markets are present, as I said, what countries maybe. The booth space, something really important to consider. You might want to take the whole team, might not be the best idea because it's limited. We had to, for example, be 2 in the booth and 1 to go around the space and network. And of course, are you there to close deals or not? You might not be able to close deals on the stand itself and on the spot. So have realistic expectations on that. Finally, presence. We needed to have a very strong presence to be attractive, especially as a software. So make sure there is an attractive setup. We did realize, maybe next time we'll take some plants, we'll take something that catches people's attention a little bit more, a coffee machine. And prepare your material in advance so that you're really talking to the correct people. And each person in our team had a different pitch for that. The booth staff, as I said, try to have it varied, not everybody from the same department maybe, so that you can actually talk to all the different types of buyers that will be there. And as anything is in 2022 and before, online presence, make sure you care about it just as much as you do your physical presence. With press, which is a topic that I deeply care about, we contacted maybe like 300 different press before the event. And because everybody's contacting that, it's really hard to get attention as a startup. So from the 300, maybe I got like 10 different press who actually ended up coming to the booth to talk to us, to film, to have a podcast, which is actually pretty good. So I really encourage people to do this with a lot of time in advance, and also visit during the event. During the event, there were stands from The Spoon, there were stands from a magazine for startups. So to really take the time to also do that there and follow up post-event, because it might take up to like March or April for them to actually publish what you did at CES.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point actually on the follow-up, that everyone goes, they get loads of business cards, and then they get involved in other things when they get back. But that's the conversion happens actually often after the event. Well, thank you so much for sharing how to organize a professional event and how to think about it. I think people need to take a screenshot and put that on their wall when they consider events. So over to you, Lance. Can you tell us a little bit about Global M and what surprised you about Las Vegas this time?
Absolutely. Good morning, James. Hi, Veronica. Very good points. So the demand for live content is skyrocketing, and Global M provides broadcast as a service for sports, news, remote productions, all types of events for all types of media outlets. So with our intelligent software-defined video network with distributed architecture, we stream over the internet with the shortest routes, the lowest latency, but the highest quality. And we now have a patent pending for the way we orchestrate the network. And we can also enable companies to broadcast live from smartphones without any loss of quality using our Global M app. So here in the picture on the left, you see our co-founder and CTO, Paul Kaleja, and we were doing live demonstrations there at the stand, replicating a major sporting event that could be over 3 or 4 days. So we were streaming at 21 megabits from Geneva to Las Vegas constantly for about 4 days without a single packet loss. So really 21 megabits per second, replicating a very high quality sports event. I'd like to say that the organization with Swisstek and the support of InnoSwiss was absolutely amazing. Bettina, Corinne, Sylvain, Philippe, the whole team really helped us and supported us. Even if we needed extra COVID tests, they would find a way to get those to us and provide us as well with everything we needed. So on the right-hand side, we had a bonus in Las Vegas because we're also part of Sportstech from Comcast NBC Universal. So they had a big stand just one floor above us. And Paul and I would sometimes be going back and forth, and they would send potential clients, partners, and investors to us to see the live demo. So we were bringing a lot of people down to the Swisstek stands. And they had our logo there on the wall as well, and we're setting up lots of appointments. But I would say that really interestingly, in Las Vegas is where we met the key people from Kudelski and Nagra, where we met key people from Swiss Ski that we hadn't even had a chance to meet in Switzerland yet. So very important to do that follow-up and to continue those discussions. And we're also currently in a fundraising round. So important as well to be available to meet investors. Maybe there weren't as many as we had hoped there in Vegas with COVID and the hybrid state of the event. But if I was to reinforce some of the do's, you really do want to set up those meetings in advance, and you want to apply for download the list of media and then select the press that are covering your type of startup, what you specialize in, and then reach out to those journalists. And I mean, they are being bombarded from all sides. So you got to try to get them to come and cover you and or do online things as Veronica mentioned. You want to set up those meetings with investors and as well the potential partners and of course the new clients. but we really had the support on site, and also the support from Comcast, NBC Universal Sports Tech, that was sending lots of people down to Swiss Tech to see our live demo.
Great. Thank you very much, both of you, for your feedback on this event. And as Fongit innovators, can other entrepreneurs come to you with questions about attending events and how to plan them?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great.
In fact, we may be back in Las Vegas in April for the NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters. So we may be going there 2 or 3 times a year.
Great. Thank you very much, Veronica and Lance, for these insights, and for giving back to our community by sharing your experience. So you heard that they were hosted at the Swiss Tech stand, and this is a new brand for highlighting and showcasing Swiss startups. But we've got a special guest who knows all about Swiss Tech, and I'd like to welcome Sylvain Jacquard, head of Swiss Global Enterprise, Western Switzerland. So glad to hear you today at our Café Croissant. So you're not only organizing this, but you were on site at your pavilion. So we'd love to get some of your insights about this event, and also we're fascinated to hear about the Swiss Tech brand, and we want to learn more. So can you tell us about this concept of Swiss Tech and how it was coined and what does it do?
Sure. Thank you very much, James. It's a great pleasure for me to be here, and thank you so much for the invitation. As you can see behind me, I'm still in Vegas on the Swiss Pavilion, on the Swiss stage. It's my nostalgia moment, of this great event in Vegas. Now I'm back to Switzerland. It was very nice to see Lance and Veronica again during this event today. Okay, so Consumer Electronics Show, many things were already said by Lance and Veronica, but just a short overview about the Swiss Tech initiatives in Vegas and also in other events during 2022. So for being successful in Vegas, you have 2 options. Okay, the first option is to play slot machines in the casinos. Okay, we have no influence about the result. Okay, the second option is to take part in the Swiss Tech initiatives. And what does it mean exactly? So first of all, it's a general support. A general support is Swiss Pavilion, okay, for having a good location at Eureka Park, because Eureka Park and the whole CES is a huge event. So having a very good location. A Swiss Pavilion is also a Swiss label for you and a better visibility, because when we have an opening session on the stage, we always have the CEO of the CES, Guy Japiro. So it's absolutely not a question for him for being on the stage. It's a must for him, and it's a pleasure for him to be with the Swiss team. It's also a support for your logistics. So we are responsible for the stage, for the pavilion, for the booth. So your job is to prepare your marketing, your communication, and your sales pitch for being ready for having contacts with your customers. And it's a support for the whole preparation. If you have any question about the custom clearance, because you have to send samples to the US or your material, we support you for all logistic aspects of your preparation. It's also a business support, because being present is great. For 3-4 days in Vegas, it's a great moment, but the business preparation is key, So it's our job to prepare and to support you to reach out potential partners before starting the event, of course, during, and also for the follow-up after the CES, okay? We can support you for your marketing communication support, so we can read through all your communication materials for being sure it's adapted for the US market. market and for the audience you will meet during the CES or other events. And it's also a PR, public relations support in Switzerland and in the US for having so many meetings with journalists as possible. It was a case with the BBC, for example, and other big medias all around the world. We also had, by the way, on Times Square in New York City, you see the big screen we have in New York City. We have a mention during the CES that Switzerland with our startups was present in the US. So it was amazing.
Wow.
Yes, definitely. Business pitch. So pitching, having a possibility to pitch, have a sales pitch during the CES on the stage. And not only, and it was the first time, not only with the startups, but with the best startups coming from 8 other countries. It was a great challenge to have this pitch session with other countries, and also with investors, potential buyers, and other business partners remotely connected because not having the possibility to travel to the US due to the COVID. So we also have a remotely connection with mainly Europe due to the time difference for having a connection with the ecosystem of the startup based in Europe. And finally, as a team Switzerland, we are not alone. So we created an added value with InnoSwiss, with Present Switzerland, with SwissNext, with Switzerland Global Enterprise, our organization, and many others for offering the best added value for supporting your business development during the CES. Next, please. It's not only the case during the CES Las Vegas, it's also the case during many other events. So I wanted to show you the list of the events, but it's not official yet. So, but I can inform you in like a little bit an avant-premiere, we will be present with the Swiss Tech and with the Swiss Tech Pavilion, exactly the same business support for you in Barcelona during the Mobile World Congress, in Paris during Vivatech, during the Bio-US, during Slush in Ziki, and many other events. So I will, and I can send you the whole list as soon as this list is official. It's also our job to support you all around the world. You have here our network. Global Network is colleagues, team of Switzerland Global Enterprise based in these countries you can see on the screen with a little red point or green one. So if you have any question about your business development in those countries, please contact us. Here you have the contact details. So stay in contact. We will stay in contact with you. Stay in contact with us. Back to you, James.
Thank you very much, Sylvain. And thanks for giving our startups this wonderful showcase of Swiss tech. They always say if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And with this brand, our startups are really having that international reach. And I have to say also that Swiss Global Enterprise is one of our favorite tools for internationalization, because you guys provide local insights, but with relevant, qualified people with the Swiss angle on it. And it really does help internationalize. So thanks for showcasing this brand. And to our startups, if you're following us live, remember to tag us and be part of that Swiss Tech initiative, because most of our startups are born global. So now is time for the life sciences news, and I'm very happy to welcome Ingeborg Albert from Genius, where she's head of the innovation there, and she's going to share with us all of the life sciences news. Welcome, Ingeborg.
Thank you, James. And we'll start this life sciences chapter with some news from Campus Biotech Innovation Park. Core Therapeutics, which is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company who are developing drugs for rare neuroinflammatory diseases, announced this month that it's been acquired by Merck, a leading science and technology company. This strategic acquisition enables Merck to expand its neurology pipeline, and we will learn more about this in the coming weeks. Another startup based at Campus Biotech Innovation Park is EarlySight. EarlySight are developing a novel imaging method to enable unprecedented imaging of eye tissues. They have been granted a key strategic patent by the United States Patent and Trademark Office. The patent was invented by EarlySight co-founders before startup incorporation and is exclusively licensed from the EPFL in Lausanne. So EarlySight's technology is being used in a clinical trial in an eye hospital in Switzerland, and promising results are already in preparation for peer-reviewed publication. On a side note, EarlySight have also been selected by the IMD Business School amongst 37 promising startups. The IMD enables their students, MBA students, to support startups in their strategy development. And very, very good startups have already benefited from this program. And I want to make another note on this. If you're a startup and you're listening here, the IMD program is really going to help you boost your success. But there are other institutions, renowned institutions from the Geneva region, which also offer students to help you with your startup. So if you're interested in, for example, we have collaborations with the biomedical faculty from the University of Geneva. There's the International Management School in Geneva. So there are plenty of opportunities. If you're interested, contact the Genius team. All right, so the CyberPeace Institute, that's an institute also based at Campus Biotech Innovation Park. To ensure that new developments in data science and artificial intelligence are designed for advanced and the public good, the Patrick J. McGovern Foundation announced this month close to $10 million in grants to organizations that are at the forefront of building inclusive tech, data, and AI ecosystems. And it's not surprising to know that the CyberPeace Institute was awarded some part of that money, $250,000, to democratize data and harness the power of AI. Sorry, we go back because I want to mention something about the Concept Foundation, who are developing a new program called Only 2 Drugs Ever, through accelerating innovation for mothers. So quick about this, for many women around the world, pregnancy is a time of joy, but it can also be a time of confusion and fear. And there's a lot sometimes uncertainty and confusing advice on treatments and medications. And the COVID vaccine is an example where pregnant women have been excluded from clinical trials and research. So Concept Foundation launches this initiative and hoping to tackle the stigma surrounding the inclusion of pregnant women in drug and vaccine trials. Now, Arteria, who are a startup based at Campus Biotech Innovation Park, not surprising, are developing technologies to fight stroke and save lives. So they won the 50,000 franc HES Espace Enterprise, which is a prize that for nearly 30 years already every year has been awarded. And this is a unique prize because it's solely organized by students. And the winning startup is chosen by a jury composed of recognized experts in a wide range of fields, renowned entrepreneurs, and influential personalities from the business world of French-speaking Switzerland. So congratulations to Arteria. Now, pricing is hard work, and it's also very strategic, and it's not just about the competition, and it's not just about your costs. So if you want to learn more, join this interactive workshop, which will take place online next Friday. It's February 3rd. And to learn more, to make profitable pricing choices and turn ideas into reality. And the sign-up links are, well, you can scan the code or look in the chat.
We always say the price of the thing is the value it brings.
Yeah, exactly. It's a super interesting topic and very surprising psychology behind it. So I really urge you to join this workshop. So lastly, from my side, the Geneva Global Health Forum. So this is a very important forum. It brings together key actors to help find solutions to global health challenges. It's since 2006 and is organized by the HUG, which is the Geneva University Hospital, and the University of Geneva in partnership with 30 global multi-sectoral organizations. And the overall goal is to contribute to improving health and care across in the world. So the theme is COVID-19 pandemic and environmental emergency, reinventing global health in times of global changes. So the Geneva Health Forum, so we joined this forum pretty every time, and it's really, really useful for networking and also qua content. And for information, they're launching now a call for contributions for this next edition, taking place from 3rd to 5th of May this year. And that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Ingeborg and the Genius team, for curating all of this exciting life sciences news. And congratulations to all of the startups and the projects you mentioned, particularly Chord Therapeutics. I mean, being acquired by Mag, that really shows the quality of the work that's being done in our ecosystem. So yeah, we look forward to hearing more in the coming weeks, and I'm looking forward to that workshop on pricing. So now we're going to move across to the events section and show you what's hot and what's happening in our Innovation Nation in the next weeks. And starting up, we'd like to highlight one of the great opportunities for Swiss startups. A number of Fongit startups have participated and indeed won as part of venture.ch. And to tell us more about this, we're very excited to have Priscilla Sanu, who is leading the marketing and communications at Venture. Welcome, Priscilla.
Thank you, James, and the Fongit team and the Genius team for having me here today. It's my pleasure to be here and to collaborate with the Swiss ecosystem to see the wonderful work that you guys are doing, fostering all this entrepreneurship in Geneva and beyond.
Thanks a lot. So, yeah, can you tell us a little bit about this great opportunity?
Sure. So let me tell you a little bit about venture.ch. So we are an early stage startup competition. We are co-organized by ETH, McKinsey and Company, Knecht Holding, InnoSwiss, and EPFL. That being said, you don't need to belong or participate in any of these organizations to participate in the competition. So the competition in itself, we give over 500,000 Swiss francs in non-dilutive cash. Non-dilutive is a key term you need to know. If you don't know, that means we don't take any kind of equity, any interest, nothing of your startup, of your business, so that cash is yours to use as you see fit to run your business. By participating in the competition, you get access to a strong and valuable network of industry experts. You get entry into our mentorship program. Our grand prize winner takes home 150,000 Swiss francs. Every single applicant that is accepted into the competition gets a 300 franc voucher for IP assistance at the IPI, or the Swiss Federal Institute for Intellectual Property in Bern. And our winners also get a business consulting package from McKinsey and Company. So how does it work? What do you need? How do you participate? What you need first is an innovative idea, business idea. Since we're early stage, since we're an early stage competition, we don't need you to put together a business plan, but we call it a business case. We understand that there's still some gaps to be filled, and our jurors understand that as well. So you put your idea down on paper, 10 to 20 pages in English, PDF it, and then you submit for free on venture.ch. You need to have legal residence in Switzerland and the intent to operate within the country. And then you have to have early stage status, which means if you've registered in the commercial registry, and it's not necessary that you have had to do that, but if you have, it's after January 1st, 2020. And then there are 5 different industry categories in which you can apply. And that is finance and insurance, health and nutrition, ICT, industrials and engineering, and retail and consumer services. And the deadline to apply, very, very important, is March 3rd, 2022. So it seems kind of far away, but it creeps up on you pretty fast. And some of the upcoming events that we do have, if we can go to the next slide, please. Great, thank you, is our draft feedback. So I mentioned this business case, 10 to 20 pages. You can actually sit down one-on-one with our jury members and have them review some of your burning specific questions before submitting your application. And we have some spots available on February 2nd and February 10th. You can go on venture.ch to register for these events. And then we have our 25th birthday this year, actually. So for our 25th anniversary, we're doing something called an early bird deadline. So 25 days before the submission deadline, that's February 6th, we will select 25 startups to enter our mentorship program. And this is only, the mentorship program is normally only reserved for our finalists. So we're expanding it and extending it over to an additional 25 startups this year. So it's worth submitting early, you know, the early bird gets the worm, as they say. And we also have some patent search workshops in partnership with the IPI. And all of this wraps up by June 28th. So we will know who our winners are. We know you're busy running a business and trying to wear many different hats at the same time. So we really tried to make this not take up too much of your time, but still the time that we do take add a lot of value. So visit venture.ch for more information. And as James said, we had several startups from Fongit and Genius participate. If you want to get their advice and hear from them specifically, you can go ask Ebamed, VLabs, Terraped, Adimos, or Goodwall, some of the startups that have passed through our venture competition. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. And you saw I downloaded your
yes
work. But I have to say, what we really appreciate about Ventures Design and also other of the top programs in Switzerland is they're actually helping you do the things you need to do to get funded, to build a successful business. All of this is aligned. And we really saw the progress that all of our startups made thanks to the mentorship, thanks to the advice that you guys gave. So it's really helping to build our innovation nation and build those companies. Some people think it's about the prize, but in fact, making people know about your startup, the visibility you're getting, and the coaching, and that the whole of Switzerland knows about your project is so valuable. So
yes, that's actually priceless. It's true. I mean, most of our alumni say that the most valuable thing that they get from the competition is the access to the network, you know. So they get exposure to potential investors, customers, so many different people that they didn't know that they needed. So it's a very good point, James.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And startups, we really warmly recommend you applying to Venture. It's a great experience and it will really help you. So here's another sneak preview of an event, and it looks like a lot of business is going to remain online and indeed hybrid for the future. So how to plan a good online presentation, how to have a good online meeting. And save the date, because we have an amazing speaker, Maria Wilhelmsen, coming in to help you present with confidence and credibility, connect with the audience, and articulate your message and pitch in a way that is easy to understand and impactful. Now, Maria is actually, she gave the first of our Fongit Forces 6 years ago. This is the third time she's coming back. And we've had squeaks of joy from some of our most experienced innovators, because she supported some of the top executives at Nestle, ABB, Pictet Bank, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and she's working also regularly at IMD about this issue, about how to present. So if you're online, this is your sneak preview. You can register for the event on Zoom. Click on the link in the chat or write to event@fongit.ch. This one is not to be missed, and we're looking forward to welcome you online for that. So other events, we heard about Venture, which is one of the top competitions. I should also mention there's Mass Challenge, which is open applications, also a very good accelerator program that happens over the summer. So very nicely works in combination with the Venture.ch and of course with Fongit. And of course there's Venture Kick, which is going all year round. We really think those are three of the top competitions in Switzerland that also help build your company. So check out them. So we're coming to the final segment, which we call 30 Seconds to Match. And a number of startups and service suppliers have reached out to us and said, hey, we have something that we think your startups would like to know about. So if you're listening, please feel free to send them in for next time. Normally people just get up, take a mic and speak and pitch. But this time, of course, it's going to be by video. And the first thing I need to tell you about is being sent out by the Innovation Forum in Lausanne. They're launching their accelerator for startups in healthcare. So you can check out the link in the chat and apply there. It's part of the EPFL. It's a non-profit association. And the program is called Imagine-ish. So it's early stage startups in the field of healthcare. Could be a great fit if you are at Genius. So that's a great opportunity. And the second 30 seconds to pitch, we actually have a video from InnoPearl. So let's see their video.
Collaborating with corporate partners is probably the fastest way for product market fit validation, customer acquisition, and ultimately scale up. But how does a startup effectively work with a completely different group of people and mindsets? I have been on the other side before, and I've seen how many partnerships end up with frustration. At InnoPearl, we decodified what it requires from both sides to find success. And I'm happy to make Fongit members benefit from these insights free of charge. Interested? Contact me, and we'll help you to give your startup a push forward.
So she really is one of the best people at connecting corporates and also startups. And that is a really exciting offer. If you want as a startup to collaborate with a large company, contact her and she will do a quick check about, are you ready to collaborate, and what are the small tweaks that you can do to make those collaborations more effective and more successful. So thank you so much for that opportunity. And also with another opportunity that's been sent in, we have the Virdis Group. Let's see their video.
Virdis Group is a global life science executive search and organizational consultancy. Established in 2007 with offices in Oxford, Lausanne, and Boston, we partner with clients throughout the world. With our new service offering, Invest Connect, Virdis Group aims at becoming a one-stop shop over the lifespan of a startup company. We provide them support to build up the strategy for business plan and business development, design the company, creation, registration, board setup, fundraise, connect with investors that are ready to promote the development of the technology, organization consulting, help assess the structure of the team and potential gaps, search for executive profiles. Contact us for any inquiry.
Great. So that brings us to the end of our first Café Croissant of 2022. So if you want to keep up to date with the hottest news, please follow us on our socials and sign up for our newsletter, because that really has the the sneak insides to some of the events that we don't publish on the socials, because that's for the insiders. And looking forward to seeing you at the Fongiet Force on the 10th of February. So have a great start to the year. May your dreams come true in 22.